The sound cuts through the afternoon silence like a gunshot. Crack. Marcus Bennett freezes on his front steps. Hand on the doorknob. That wasn't a door slamming. Wasn't something dropping. That was a slap. He pushes the door open, and what he sees makes his blood turn to ice. His wife, Victoria, standing in the center of their marble foyer. Chest heaving. Face twisted with rage. Hands still raised like a weapon. And on the floor, crumpled like something discarded, something worthless, is Eleanor. The woman who raised him. She's sitting there, one hand pressed to her cheek, and even from across the room Marcus can see the red mark blooming across her face like spilled wine. Like a stain that won't come out. Victoria doesn't even notice him yet. She's too busy screaming. Too wrapped up in her own fury to realize her entire world is about to collapse. You are nothing. You hear me? A useless burden who should be grateful I let you breathe the same air as us. You're pathetic. A charity case who overstayed her welcome years ago. Eleanor's voice is so quiet Marcus almost doesn't hear it. Barely a whisper. But it cuts through everything. I only asked for respect, Victoria. That's all. Just a little respect. And that's when Victoria sees him. The rage drains from her face like water down a drain. Replaced by shock. Then panic. Then that calculated smile he's seen 1,000 times but never really understood until this exact moment. Marcus. Oh my God, you're home early. I didn't expect. This isn't what it looks like. She provoked me. You have to understand. But Marcus isn't listening to her. He's staring at Eleanor. At the bruise forming on her 72-year-old face. At the way her hands are trembling. At her shoulders hunched in shame. At the look in her eyes that says this isn't the first time. That this has been happening for months, maybe years. That she's been suffering in silence while he built his empire and trusted the wrong person. And something inside him breaks. Something fundamental. Something that can never be put back together. Before we go any further, I need you to understand something. This story is going to hurt. It's going to make you angry and sad, and maybe even cry. But it's also going to remind you why love matters. Why the people who sacrifice for us deserve more than we can ever give them. So if you're ready for that, if you're ready to feel something real, hit that like button right now. Drop a comment and tell me you're here for this journey. Because what happens next will change everything. And I promise you, you won't see it coming. Marcus doesn't say a word to Victoria. He walks right past her like she doesn't exist. Like she's a ghost. A mistake. Something he needs to step around to get to what actually matters. He kneels down next to Eleanor. His hands are shaking so badly he can barely help her up. His throat is tight. His eyes are burning. Are you okay? His voice cracks on the last word. Breaks into pieces. Eleanor nods. Of course she nods. She always nods. Even when everything is falling apart.
I'm fine, sweetheart. Don't worry about me.
You know how clumsy I can be. I probably just...
Mom.
Please. The word hangs in the air between them. Heavy with everything unsaid. Eleanor looks away. Can't meet his eyes. Marcus, really, it's nothing. How long? He asks quietly. Dangerously quiet. Eleanor flinches.
What?
How long has she been doing this to you? Silence. The kind that speaks louder than words. Victoria starts talking.
Fast. Desperate.
Marcus, you don't understand. She provoked me. She's been impossible lately, constantly making little comments, undermining me. I just lost my temper for 1 second. Marcus holds up one hand without even looking at her. She stops mid-sentence. Mouth open. Eyes wide. The silence that follows is so heavy you could drown in it. Marcus helps Eleanor to her feet. She's smaller than he remembers. Frilier. When did that happen? When did the woman who seemed unbreakable become this fragile? Go to your room, Mom, he says softly.
Gently.
Please. Eleanor hesitates. She looks at Victoria. Then back at Marcus. And her eyes fill with something that destroys him completely.
Worry. She's worried about him.
About what he might do. Even now, even after being humiliated and struck, she's trying to protect him. Marcus, don't do anything you'll regret. Marriage is complicated. Sometimes people just have bad days. Mom. The firmness in his voice makes her flinch. Go. Eleanor nods slowly, squeezes his hand once, and walks away, her footsteps small and quiet against the marble floor. The second she disappears down the hallway, Victoria's entire demeanor changes. The panic evaporates, replaced by something colder, more calculated. Okay, listen to me very carefully, she says, voice low and sharp. That looked worse than it was. She's been getting on my nerves for weeks. I snapped. It happens. We move past it. Marcus finally looks at her. Really looks at her. And he wonders how he ever thought she was beautiful. We'll talk later, he says. Voice flat. Empty.
Victoria exhales.
Relief floods her face. She actually thinks she's won. That this will blow over. She has no idea that normal ended the second he walked through that door. She has no idea what's coming. But before I tell you what Marcus does next, you need to understand who Eleanor really is. Not who Victoria thinks she is. Not some burden. Not some charity case. Who she actually is. Because this changes everything. Marcus was 7 years old when Eleanor saved his life. Not metaphorically. Literally. His biological parents didn't die tragically. They were alive. They just didn't want him. His father left before he was born. His mother tried for a while, but by the time Marcus was 5, he'd learned that love was conditional. That it could be taken away without warning. Child services found him locked in a bedroom. Alone. A blanket. A box of stale crackers. His mother was 3 states away with a boyfriend. Hadn't called in 4 days. Into the system he went. Foster home 1. Foster home 2. Foster home 3. Each one teaching him the same lesson. Nobody wants you. Not really. Not for keeps. By 7 years old, Marcus was exhausted with living. That's when Eleanor walked into the group home. She wasn't young. Wasn't wealthy. She was 52. A secretary at a law firm. Single. Living in a 1-bedroom apartment. The social worker didn't think she was qualified. Too old.
Too poor.
No support system. But Eleanor had something most people don't. She had a heart that saw worth where everyone else saw inconvenience. The first time she saw Marcus, he was sitting alone in the corner reading Treasure Island. Way too advanced for a 7-year-old. But he was sounding out the words anyway because it was better than thinking. Eleanor sat down on that dirty floor, even though her knees hurt. What are you reading? She asked. Marcus didn't look up. He'd learned not to trust adults. Treasure Island. Is it good? He shrugged. I don't understand all the words. Want me to help? And for the next hour, that's exactly what they did. When visiting hours ended, Marcus didn't want her to leave. First time in his entire life, he'd felt that way about anyone. Will you come back? He asked. So quietly, she almost didn't hear. Eleanor smiled. I promise. And she kept that promise. She came back every week. Brought books. Cookies.
Her time.
Her attention. After 3 months, she filed adoption papers. The social worker tried to talk her out of it. Ms. Bennett, you need to be realistic. You're single. You work full-time. You live in a 1-bedroom apartment. Are you absolutely sure? Eleanor didn't hesitate. I'm sure. 6 months later, Marcus moved in. She gave him the bedroom. She slept on the pull-out couch. For 8 years. She worked 2 jobs. Then 3. Mornings at the law firm. Evenings cleaning offices. Weekends doing bookkeeping under the table. She wore the same winter coat for 8 years. The same shoes until the soles wore through. One night when he was 9, they were eating spaghetti with butter. That's all they could afford that week. Marcus blurted it out. Why did you adopt me? Eleanor set down her fork. Because you needed someone. And I had love to give. But you could have chosen someone easier. Someone who wasn't so broken. Eleanor took his hand. You're not broken, Marcus. You're hurt. And hurt things can heal. With time. With love. With someone who refuses to give up on you. That's when Marcus started crying. Really crying. And Eleanor held him while he sobbed. You're mine, she whispered. And I'm never, ever letting you go. She kept that promise. Through everything. When kids bullied him, she marched into that principal's office. When he brought home straight A's, she cried with pride. When he got into college on a full scholarship, she threw a party with their neighbors. Made a 3-layer cake even though she'd worked a double shift. She never asked him for anything. Never made him feel guilty. Never threw her sacrifices in his face. She just loved him.
Pure.
Unconditional. Without strings. But there was one thing she never told him. One secret buried so deep that even she tried to forget it existed. And that secret is about to change everything. Marcus built his empire from nothing. Well, not nothing. He had Eleanor's love. Her belief. Her sacrifices.
But money?
Connections? Zero. He worked 3 jobs in college. Slept 4 hours a night. Graduated top of his class in computer engineering. Started a tech company in his cramped apartment with a used laptop and a dream everyone said was impossible. First year, $30,000. Second year, $100,000. Third year, he landed a contract that changed everything. By 30, he'd sold that company for $47 million. Eleanor cried when he told her. You did it, baby. You really did it. But Marcus didn't stop. He invested. Real estate.
Stocks.
More startups. By 35, he was worth over $1 billion. He bought Eleanor a house. A real one.
Garden.
High ceilings. Morning sunlight.
She cried.
Then protested. Marcus, this is too much. It's not enough, he said. It will never be enough. That's when Victoria appeared. Charity gala. Designer dress. Perfect hair. She knew how to work a room. How to make powerful men feel special. She laughed at Marcus's jokes. Asked intelligent questions. Touched his arm at precisely the right moments. By the end of that night, Marcus was hooked. They dated for a year. She was everything he thought he wanted. Elegant. Sophisticated. She understood his world. Eleanor met Victoria twice before the engagement. Both times she was polite.
Said the right things.
Smiled. But after Victoria left, Eleanor got quiet. That specific quiet mothers get when they see danger. Do you love her? Eleanor asked.
I do, ma'am.
I really do. Eleanor smiled. But her eyes said something different. They said, be careful. He didn't listen. The wedding was massive. 300 guests. Imported flowers. A venue that cost more than Eleanor's first house. Eleanor wore a simple blue dress. Sat in the back. Didn't make a fuss. After the wedding, Victoria moved into Marcus's mansion. Eleanor was already living there. Marcus had insisted. Victoria smiled when he said that. Agreed enthusiastically. But the second Marcus left for work that first morning, Victoria's smile died. At first, it was subtle. Little comments. Little rules. Eleanor couldn't eat at the main table anymore. Had to eat in the kitchen. Alone. Couldn't be in the living room when guests arrived. Then Victoria moved Eleanor's bedroom. From the second-floor suite with a garden view to a storage room off the laundry area. 8 feet by 10 feet. 1 window. A twin bed. A lamp. That's where the woman who raised a billionaire slept. And Eleanor never said a word. Never told Marcus. Because she didn't want to be a burden. Didn't want to cause problems in his marriage. That's what real love does. It suffers in silence. Marcus had no idea any of this was happening. He was building an empire. Flying to Tokyo, London, Dubai. Making decisions that affected thousands. And whenever he was home, Victoria made everything look perfect. She smiled. Was affectionate. Treated Eleanor with polite distance. He trusted his wife completely. Until today.
Until that slap.
Until he saw what had been happening in the shadows. That night, Marcus doesn't sleep. He sits in his office until 3 a.m., making calls. Sending emails. First call to his lawyer. Richard. I need every document related to my marriage. Prenup. Everything. By morning. Second call to his security team. 6 months of surveillance footage. Every camera. How fast? 2 days if we work around the clock. Make it one. Third call to Dr. Sarah Chen, Eleanor's doctor. An old friend. Marcus's hands shake when she answers.
Sarah.
It's Marcus. It's midnight. Eleanor's been funding something, hasn't she? Something she made you promise not to tell me. Long silence.
Sarah.
Please.
He hears her sigh.
20 years ago, when you started your first company, you got a loan from an anonymous investor. Remember? Marcus freezes.
Yes.
$175,000. That was Eleanor. The words hit him like a freight train. What? She took out a second mortgage, sold her car, emptied her retirement. Every penny she had. She gave it all to you. Anonymously. Because she didn't want you to feel guilty. Marcus can't breathe. That money became equity.
Shares.
When you went public, she never sold them. Marcus. She owns $340 million of your company. The phone slips from his hand. He sits there in the darkness.
And he cries.
The woman his wife slapped. The woman Victoria called worthless. A burden. Nothing. She owns a third of his company. She funded his entire empire. And she's been sleeping in a storage room.
How did he not see it?
How did he fail her so completely? Marcus doesn't sleep that night. He sits making plans. Cold. Calculated. Methodical plans. Because Victoria doesn't just deserve divorce. She deserves destruction. The next morning, Victoria announces she's throwing a party. This Saturday. Last minute. She doesn't ask Marcus. Just starts making calls. Spring social at the Bennett residence. Saturday. 7 p.m. We have exciting news. Her friends respond immediately. Of course they'll come. But Marcus knows something Victoria doesn't. She's been manipulating him for months. Forging documents. Creating fake positions. At this party, she's planning to announce she's co-chair of the Bennett Family Foundation. It's a complete lie. This party is her coronation. Her victory lap. She has no idea it's her execution. Marcus watches her prepare all week. Smiling. Playing along. This party sounds wonderful, honey.
Victoria beams.
I just want to make you proud. The irony would be funny if it wasn't tragic. Saturday arrives. The house fills with people by 7:30. Victoria's friends. Marcus's partners. Socialites. People who matter. Champagne flows. A string quartet plays. People laugh and gossip.
Victoria glows. $15,000 dress.
Perfect makeup. She works the room like a politician. Eleanor stays in her room. That tiny storage room. She'd asked Marcus if she should leave. He said no. I need you here, Mom. Please trust me. At 8:45, Victoria clinks her champagne glass. The room quiets. All eyes turn to her. First, I want to thank you all for being here. And I have some exciting news. Marcus steps forward. Actually, darling, I have an announcement first. Victoria's smile flickers.
Oh.
Of course. Marcus pulls out his phone. Connects it to the TV. I want to show everyone something. The screen flickers to life. And the footage plays. Victoria screaming at Eleanor. You're pathetic. Worthless. The room goes silent. More footage. Victoria throwing food. Backing Eleanor into corners. And then the slap. Crystal clear. Crack. Eleanor falling. Victoria's face drains of color. Marcus, what are you doing? You can't. Can't what? Show people who you really are. He turns to the crowd. This woman has been abusing my mother for 2 years. And I didn't know. Because I trusted her. He pulls out a folder. Prenup. No claim to assets. As of this morning, all accounts frozen. Divorce papers filed. You've been served. Victoria's knees buckle. You can't. Already done. Then Marcus walks to the entrance. Opens the doors. Eleanor walks in. Simply dressed. But with dignity. Head high. Marcus takes her hand. Leads her to the center. This is Eleanor Bennett. My mother. He looks around the room. She found me when I was 7 and nobody wanted me. Worked 3 jobs so I could go to college. And 20 years ago, She gave me $175,000. Every penny she had. Anonymously. Gasps ripple through the crowd. That money became shares. She owns $340 million. A third of my company. She's worth more than half of you here. More gasps. Everyone staring at Eleanor with new eyes. And the woman you all admire, Marcus gestures to Victoria, made my mother sleep in a storage room. Eat leftovers in the kitchen. Convinced me she was doing her a favor. Victoria has collapsed. Sobbing. Mascara running. Please, Marcus, I'm sorry, I'll change. You're not sorry. You're just sorry you got caught. He turns to Eleanor. Kneels in front of her. I'm sorry I didn't protect you, Mom. But I'm going to spend the rest of my life making this right. Eleanor's eyes fill with tears. You have nothing to be sorry for, sweetheart.
No.
You gave me everything. And I almost let someone take you from me. Security moves in. Escorts Victoria toward the door. She's begging. Reaching for people who turn away. The door closes. And she's gone. 3 months later, Marcus holds a press conference. He announces the Eleanor Bennett Foundation. $500 million. Supporting foster children and single parents. Eleanor stands next to him. Finally getting the recognition she deserves. And for the first time publicly, Marcus introduces her properly. This is my mom. Not my adoptive mom. Just my mom. The woman who saved my life. Who built my empire. Who taught me that love isn't about blood. It's about choice. And sacrifice. And showing up every single day. Eleanor cries. Happy tears. And Marcus holds her close. The woman Victoria slapped became the reason Victoria lost everything. Her marriage. Her money. Her standing. Her entire life. Because karma doesn't always come fast. But when it comes, it's absolutely devastating. Listen to me. If this story broke your heart the way it broke mine, I need you to do something right now. Subscribe to this channel. Because I'm going to keep telling you stories about real love, real sacrifice, and real justice. Stories that remind us what actually matters. Share this video with someone who needs to remember that the people who love us quietly, who sacrifice without recognition, who give without expecting anything back, those are the people who deserve everything. Drop a comment and tell me what you're feeling. Tell me about someone in your life who loved you the way Eleanor loved Marcus. Because there are more people like Eleanor out there. More silent heroes who need their stories told. And I'm not stopping until everyone hears them. I'll see you in the next one.